Okay guys, girls, here is how to create a contact sheet in Photoshop. So first thing that you need to do is go down here and open up Photoshop CS2. This is the one that we've got on the school computers. So double click on that and this box should open up. Okay, so it'll take a moment to open. It'll ask you if you want to register and things like that. We don't need to. Just put do not register and close that. Close that one. So a contact sheet is basically when you've done a photo shoot, you want little thumbnails, so small little versions of all of the photos that you've taken printed out onto one page. So lots of very small ones onto one page. So this is how you do it. Go to File, go to Automate, and then go to Contact Sheet. Okay, so oops. File, Automate, Contact Sheet, and it says Contact Sheet 2. That's fine. Okay, so now it's asking you, where do you want to get these photos from? Where have you saved them? Let's go and find them. So I'm going to find some photos that I know that I've got saved just locally on my computer. Your photos might be saved in the OneDrive. They could be still on the memory card that you've taken out of the camera, so the SD card. Wherever that is, it'll come up here. So it might say Canon SD card, or it might say the name of the SD card. I'll show you if I plug in. There we go. I've just plugged in a USB stick and it pops up there. So, but the photos that I'm going to find are on this PC, in Pictures, and then in a folder called Reflections. So that's where I want my photos to be taken from. That's where my photo shoot has been saved. Here you want to make sure that this setting, make sure it's on centimeters. It gives you the option of inches, centimeters and pixels. Make sure it's on centimeters, and depending on where you're going to be printing and then gluing this contact sheet, depends on what size. So your new sketchbooks, I think, are square. So we're going to need to change the settings of these to square. I'm not sure at this precise moment making this video what size is going to work, but I'm going to go for 25 centimeters by 25 centimeters, and it shows you what it's going to look like here. I think that looks a little bit too busy, so I'm going to drop that down to 5 by 5, and that's saying how many thumbnails. So thumbnails are the little tiny photos. How many thumbnails do you want per page? And that's how many it's going to fit on. Okay, so 25 images, 5 columns, 5 rows. Okay, so when you're happy with that, you've selected your photos where they've been saved, you've told the computer, you've told Photoshop what size you want to print them here, and then you've worked out what's going to look best. You say 4 by 4, that's what it'd look like. If you know roughly how many photos you've taken in your photo shoot, you could size this so all of them fit onto one page. Okay, and if I've got 25 photos in mine, so if I do 5 by 5, then every single photo in my folder, in this reflections folder, is going to fit on the same page, and that will look nice and neat when it's printed out, rather than having half a page full, or it stops on this thumbnail here. So click OK. It will then take a moment. It will then take a moment, and it's opening up. You can see it opening up each of those photos very quickly, flicking around, and then it creates your contact sheet. So every one of those photos that I've taken or that I've saved have now been put onto a square piece of paper, and they all fit perfectly. So there's no white space down here at the bottom halfway through. It all fits on. Obviously, if you've got an odd number of photos in your photo shoot, you could have half a page, and that's absolutely fine. I'm just saying it'd look neater if it was a full page. Alternatively, if you've got more photos, if you had 100 photos, for example, you could have 2 pages. You just print out both and stick them down. Now, I have created a folder in OneDrive for you to pop your or to save your contact sheets, and we will print them for you. Okay, so all you need to do that is go File, Save As. I'm going to click on Desktop, go to the OneDrive, and you won't have all of this because this is my OneDrive, but I will show you to print 10D1 photography. So you can save your contact sheet in that folder, and then either myself or Miss Wilborn will print it for you. You must change the file name, otherwise we don't know who it belongs to. So change this to your name, and I would also put the date, or at least December 21, something like that. And then we know roughly when it was put in there. Change it from a Photoshop file to a JPEG. Okay, so it will automatically come up with Photoshop, a PSD. It's trying to save it as a PSD file. We don't need it as a PSD file because all we're going to do is print it. So we're going to change it to a JPEG. So change it to a JPEG and then click Save. It will ask you some information. Put it up to maximum. You want the quality, the image quality to be maximum. If it's round anywhere, high to maximum is fine. Okay, and then press OK. All right, so that is how you create and save your contact sheet using Adobe Photoshop. We will be asking you to use Photop, which is an online editing tool, but unfortunately Photop doesn't have an automated way of creating a contact sheet that's nice and quick like this, which is why we're going to be using Photoshop. So if you need to create a contact sheet, you're going to need to do it in school rather than at home, unless you've got Photoshop at home, of course, because our computers have got Photoshop. All of the desktop computers have got Photoshop on them. Okay, you can't do this on your iPad. That's it.